My mum and dad were really good at like asking me every year, are you still enjoying it? Do you still want to do this? And I'm like, what am I going to do? Go back to school? Like, that's not as fun as this. Harry Potter.
Who are you?
Rubius Hagrid, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. Of course, you'll know all about Hogwarts.
Sorry, no.
No? Blimey, Harry, didn't you ever wonder where your mum and dad learned it all?
Learned what?
You're a wizard, Harry.
You know, I'd read, I think, the first 2 books. I was not a big reader, so I was not as into it as like a lot of my friends were. I don't think I was like thinking particularly deeply about the characters or acting when I was that age. The people I really admired were the people that like didn't mystify acting too much, who were just able to like come to set and do it. Imelda Staunton, David Thewlis, Gary Oldman, Michael Gambon, they're all people that can be very normal and chatting away and then can just turn it on action. They're people that, particularly Imelda was one of the people that I always just looked at and went like, you're so good and it's so effortless. Because she will be just chatting away to everyone and having a nice life and day and then able to give an incredibly terrifying or intense performance.
You deserve to be punished, don't you, Mr. Potter?
Michael Gambon could do that to a frustrating degree. He learned that he could, when I was a teenager, like he could make me laugh very, very easily, making me laugh like right up until the word action, at which point I was pretty much unable to recover, and he could just like snap into a performance with just like inherent gravitas and charm.
Forgive my mawkishness, Harry. I'm an old man.
Yeah, he's awesome. There is so much on Potter that was so intense and so crazy, you don't even think about it at the time, because you're just like, yeah, they're building a tank. Where D-Stage used to be, they're just like building a tank and they're going to be filming underwater for 6 weeks. I had like a logbook of all the hours that I'd done underwater. Like it was really cool. I've heard that we average like 7 seconds of footage a day or something, like of usable footage. But again, those are one of those things that you go like, I will never do that again. And if I do, I'll be one of the only people who's done it before. It was one of those moments that you look back on and go, God, that's special. Those ones on the 4th film, the dragon sequence on the 4th film. One shot on the 6th film, I think, where I start off underneath the water and I was on a wire, so I was holding myself by a rope under the surface of the water, and then on action, I let go and they pulled me on the wire, so I flew out of the water and there was like a ring of fire around me, so I was just like bursting out of the surface of the water through a ring of fire. It's phenomenal that they allowed me to do that myself. And like, again, I'll never probably be on a job where they do let me do that kind of stuff. I think every director kind of came on at a point we needed them to, and where we were all ready to be then taken to another, you know, developmental stage of our acting. I don't think anyone else could have started the series in the way that Chris did. I don't think anyone else could have wrangled 30 kids and kept us all focused and happy in the way that he did. Alfonso, when he came on, you know, we were all starting to become like more intense, brooding teenagers, and so he sort of came on at the right moment to capitalize on that. And the same goes for Mike is like this bombastic, huge character, which is exactly what you needed for like the 4th film and book. And then David Yates to finish them all off. Like, I mean, I really feel like particularly the 5th film was where I like learned a lot, particularly from working with Gary and in scenes with Gary with David. I think that's sort of where I started to get more of a handle on like what acting was.
What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are.
I'm incredibly lucky to have worked with all of them, but honestly, the person that I think had the greatest influence on me out of all of those is Chris Columbus. When Chris came back for the 20th anniversary reunion last year, he came to the studios and there were people on set who were running across set to see this director that they had not seen in 20 years, and they remembered him and he remembered them. And there are so few people in the industry that can like inspire that in people, like that you genuinely, the crews of the first 2 Potter films would have followed Chris Columbus into hell. You know, we just loved him so much, and I think a huge amount of his enthusiasm for like being on set is sort of where I take mine from, and the reason I think I love the job so much is in no small part